Claire
Yeah.
and Judy and Shamim were part of a group that did a course in creative writing at Accrington Library in November 2011 with the WEA. We took as our theme Journeys of Life or Lifelines. We used Accrington Library because it's a beautiful venue, and we're now going to share with you some of the work that was created there.
After getting this photocopied from the library here in Accrington, I've based it upon the life of the prose that I'm about to read.
Okay.
3 towns, one river. When I was young, we lived near a stream, spent days catching frog spawn, jam jars tied with string. Our house at the top of the town, we were told by others, Jambutty End, houses, upper class in certain people's eyes. First, I always thought, the reason that we could collect more spawn, more jars, you see. Expensive houses, we lived off jam and bread, that's what was said. As I grew older, wandering further afield, streamed down the bottom end, me and my friends, running through the streets, knocking on front doors, then we would quickly retreat, making our way to our favourite spot, Tottleworth. In old English words, Tottler and Worth, a hamlet, an enclosure of homes, picnics, summer days, dangling our legs in the natural pool by the bridge, water warmed with the sun, bathing our feet, moss-covered pebbles beneath the surface swayed with the flow, plush green velvet pushing our toes to and fro. Now, searching a map from 1955, Spore Brook, the stream that fulfilled childhood days, followed the depths beneath my hometown, sprung into action, powering engines, Rishton paper mill scroll newsprint, an art of its own. The Hindburn River, Hine meaning tree, Brun deriving from stream, ran alongside the mill that borders and winds around 2 towns. The boundary surrounding is Great Harwood, known to some as Snuffy Arid. The story goes, cotton mills, so many drowning in fluff. At the end of a shift, coming out of the gates, they'd take to their snuff. No old English word for ariders. No, just run-of-the-mill talk, and the name has stuck. It's said there's a snuff box fixed at the top of the clock tower, so if you ever stroll by, look up and sniff it out. My first job at 16 years of age was at a factory in Great Harwood. Now, when I pass by, adding to the rest, mills knocked down to the ground, Tesco stands there. Clocked in at 8, survived the days, battling women we worked alongside. She looked over my shoulder, inspected the finished product. Elsa, the forewoman I name and never will forget. My son was at school, we lived in Great Harwood. The same faces are still around, just a few more lines that curve the edges. I started at Rishton, an old English word, Rushton, known for its rushes. Great Harwood's round the corner. Then, Old English for Clayton the Moors, clay and ton, clay on soil. Mears stands for barren land, that once was. 3 towns through my life borders one another. The river continues its forceful journey. Since then, in my younger days, where frog spawn was plenty, Spore Brook, where it started, now a housing estate, providing homesteads for many. Maybe the frogs have followed, channel through tracks, come downstream. Land here is boggy. Retrieving a frog from the doorstep today, well here, Tarn Avenue, its namesake from history, an idyllic spot, no need for jam jars. Waiting, a high-pitched squeak, disappointingly expecting a deep-toned croak. Placed amongst the reeds, my garden's their home.
Lovely, thank you, Claire.
Bordering on insanity. My mind is mind, a landscape laced with scars, twisted tunnels where I scrape at crusted soil, inhaling dust, where even breath is rationed. My mind is mind, blown, thrown skywards, landed anyhow, fragments hedged in or wedged in the isolation of mistrust, others stranded on rationality. My mind is mine, however fractured, you will not control it. Hold it to your creed. Undermine me, quarry me. I must be myself, rational or irrational.
Pin and tack, treadle machine goes forward and back, grandma sucking more toner drops, won't stop sewing till she's finished the frocks. The air is filled with her lavender scent, enveloping her body frail and bent, but her eyes are still bright though she's losing her sight. Teaching us is a difficult task, what do we do is all we ask. Pin and tack is her constant reply. Do we have to, we say with a sigh. We are not good pupils and take short cuts. Her silver head shakes, she harumps and tuts. Grandma makes us frocks for birthdays and other special days. Oh, how I wish I'd listened and followed in her ways. Pin and tack, treadle machine goes forward and back.
Shamim, would you like to show us what you're holding?
I'm holding a box. A couple of weeks ago we was at creative writing in the library. We was told to look at a few objects that could inspire us. I chose this box. I like the look of it, and it inspired me to write a prose. And this is my prose, and it's called, obviously, The Box. The moonlight bathed the freshly opened wooden box. In it lay a wrapped doll in a fetal position. A curious and frightened little man had disturbed the deep slumber. Beads of sweat ran down his face. Mopping his brow, he waited for his heart to stop pounding. Raising his candlestick, he stood over the box. On closer inspection, it was a body of a dead baby, wrapped in a muslin cloth. Oddly, the body was still intact and clothed with flesh. The old man's mind was doing somersaults. He heard a creak, shivers ran up his spine. He froze and closed his eyes. The autumnal growth beneath him crackled where he stood. Then the lid shut fast, and a howl followed. The frightened man ran for dear life, running towards his porch. He saw a black vapour rising, and an object materialized inside it. It spoke, "You pathetic human, you have freed me from arrest, and now you must be punished, and your soul will rectify your mistake."
Thank you, Shamim. Stuart has written about the journey, but not the journey of any human person. Alrighty, Stuart?
A swan. Casual strollers along the embankment of the River Derwent in Cumbria on a hot summer's afternoon in August may have seen the magnificent white swan as she swam gracefully through the swift flowing waters of the Derwent. They could not have known from what tragedy her journey had begun, or guessed her purpose as she sashayed along the suave waterway. The resolute River Derwent courses from its source at Stye Head Tarn, underneath Skyfell Pike in the Lake District. It meanders among the fells, past meadows and through ancient oak woodlands, until it eventually reaches the large expanse of water known as Derwent Water. The swan was not intent on reaching a destination, but rather a hopeful rendezvous with a handsome cob. She was searching for a mate. Poachers had savagely killed her lifetime companion before callously shooting all her cygnets, and now she must start all over again. As autumn approached in the year that followed, the magnificent swan would swim with bravura back along this same watercourse, proudly parading her sprightly clutch of younglings, whilst downstream, following attentively in their wake, the proud pater cob. One brave journey completed, and another already begun.
Thank you, Stuart.